Cascade Falls, Oregon, was the kind of town that pretended to be bigger than it waste-woe modest high schools, one minor league baseball team, and exactly 3 grocery stores. Locals swore Riverbend Grocery had the freshest produce in the valley, though anyone who worked the back rooms knew the real secret was Malika Johnson. At 26, Malika could unwrap a pallet of avocados faster than most people could text "Good morning." She was 5'8", lean, with her hair tucked into a scarf patterned like the Milky Way. Customers loved her quiet smile and the way she always double-checked expiration dates. Every manager Riverbend had rotated through in 4 years marked her down as irreplaceable. Tuesday, 3 p.m. The store hummed with its ordinary soundtrack. Freezers droning, kids arguing over cereal mascots, oldies on the ceiling speakers. Malika was kneeling in produce, aligning bundles of rainbow chard as though they were stained glass windows, when the store's air shifted. She felt it before she heard it, the way animals sense an oncoming storm. Officer Caitlin Ward pushed through the sliding doors with too much purpose for a milk run. The 31-year-old patrolwoman, blonde ponytail, body cam blinking red, might have passed for a fitness influencer if not for the tension drilled into her shoulders. Her patrol boots echoed on the tile as she bypassed the registers, the floral department, and the little sample cart where a teenage clerk was spooning out peach yogurt. She marched straight for produce. ID. Now, Ward said, stopping 2 feet from Malika's kneeling form. Malika looked up, confused. Excuse me? Identification, Ward repeated, resting a hand on the radio clipped to her vest. Immediately. No greeting. No badge presentation. Just authority pressed into 2 syllables. Malika stood slowly, wiped her palms on her apron. Officer, could you tell me why? You match a description, Ward barked, loud enough for the citrus section to stall mid-bag. ID. Do not make me ask again. Mallory, a white college kid working frozen foods, peered over the freezer door. A mother with twin toddlers held her breath. Phones were angled skyward before Malika even realized they were out. Riverbend's customers operated like an informal neighborhood watch, and they knew a scene when they saw one. Malika's voice stayed level, but her pulse climbed. Ma'am, I clocked in at 11. Haven't left the store since lunch. What description? Ward's eyes swept the aisle, searching for invisible reinforcements. Tall black female, dark hoodie, possible shoplifting ring. She gestured at Malika's company vest that was unmistakably cobalt blue. Hoodie could be underneath that. The claim was absurd, but nobody laughed. Marcus Hill, Riverbend's interim manager, a lanky white guy with a perpetual 5 o'clock shadow, rounded the corner, clipboard still in hand. He'd caught the final sentence. Officer, I'm Marcus Hill. This is my floor, he said, positioning himself next to Malika. What seems to be the issue? Ward squared her shoulders but did not relax. Store-related theft. She needs to produce an ID. Marcus blinked. I've been watching inventory since dawn. We haven't had a shrink alert all day. Plus, Miss Johnson has a name badge and security clearance to the dock. If you tell me what she's suspected of, I can pull any footage you want. I don't need a lecture on procedure, Ward snapped. From behind the banana table, a phone chirped the telltale note that Facebook Live had begun. Malika felt the heat from every lens. Officer, with respect, you still haven't given me probable cause. Ward's jaw tightened. Failure to comply becomes obstruction. Obstruction becomes arrest. Her free hand brushed the cuffs hanging from her duty belt. At that exact second, a new voice slid into the tension, as smooth as a vinyl record crackling into its first note. That won't hold in court, officer. Professor Samuel Green stepped out from behind the apple pyramid, holding a basket with 2 item-scale chips and Earl Grey tea. Green, a 70-year-old white civil rights historian from Cascade Falls University, wore tweed even in July and was rumored to grade papers with a fountain pen. Oregon Revised Statute 130.1.615 requires reasonable suspicion articulated in specific, objective facts. A color and a hoodie, not sufficient. Ward glared. Who are you? Just a man buying tea, Green said, calm as a Sunday homily, and a citizen who doesn't enjoy unlawful detentions occurring where he shops. A young black barista named Chris muttered, "Preach, Prof," loud enough for the nearest phone mic to catch. Ward scanned the circle of witnesses. 7 phones, 2 body cams from plane, clothes loss, prevention officers, and the store's own fisheye lenses in the ceiling, too many eyes. She stepped closer to Malika anyway, a predator's last bluff, hand hovering near her taser. It was Marcus who shattered the standoff. "Officer Ward, I'm invoking Company Policy 413. Any outside agency questioning staff without stating a formal charge is asked to wait in my office while we contact legal. Either we go to that office together, or you depart." Ward's nostrils flared. She opened her mouth, closed it. The canned air conditioning hummed. Then a voice none of them expected boomed from the store intercom. "Manager Hill to the front, code Lavender." Code Lavender meant police conflict. Only 4 employees even knew the code. Malika had written the protocol herself after George Floyd's murder. Everyone froze a second, startled that the intercom had chosen a side. Ward realized the tide had turned. She lowered her hand from her belt. "Fine. I'll file my report." She pivoted and strode out, boots squeaking, the red record light on every camera tracking her exit like heat-seeking missiles. When the doors sighed shut behind her, oxygen flowed back into the store. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop your thoughts in the comments box. No one cheered. Too much adrenaline for that. Instead, a hush fell the quiet of people realizing they'd just witnessed something that would ripple far beyond Cascade Falls. Marcus turned to Malika. "Take 15. Get air." Malika hesitated, then nodded. The moment her sneakers hit the asphalt behind the loading dock, her hands started shaking. She wasn't afraid. She was furious. And the fury arrived with delayed intensity, as if her body had waited for permission. Inside, Samuel Green slipped Marcus his university card. "If Riverbend needs a statement, call me." Within 45 minutes, the first video hit Twitter. The caption, "Black woman stocking lettuce, white cop storms in, no cause. Riverbend Grocery, 3 p.m. Cascade Falls. Watch. 1,500 retweets in an hour." By dinner, Lavender Code trended regionally. But the story was only warming up. Cascade Falls PD sat in a squat brick building that looked more like a DMV than a law enforcement hub. By 6:20 p.m., Lieutenant Carla Perez Hispanic, silver hair, 15 years on force, sat in her office reviewing body cam angles from Ward's shift. Perez frowned. Ward's camera had malfunctioned the minute she entered Riverbend. Convenient. When Perez phoned Ward for clarification, Ward insisted the device glitched. Perez ordered the unit quarantined for forensic download. The lieutenant had navigated enough misconduct cases to smell smoke before flames. Meanwhile, East Cascade News pushed the story statewide. They'd uncovered that Ward had 3 prior complaints for pretext stops against black drivers known substantiated, all sealed after union arbitration. That disclosure threw gasoline on Twitter. National accounts picked it up. Civil rights TikTok sank its teeth in. Malika's calm face standing beneath fluorescent lights, with chart in hand, became a meme. Still working. Still threatening apparently. Malika watched none of it. She was lying in a bathtub, water gone lukewarm, phone silenced, lights off. She texted her younger brother in Atlanta. "I'm safe. Tired. Don't call tonight. Love you." Then she lowered the phone to the floor and slid beneath the water, letting the world blur above her. Morning cracked open with 4 developments. 1. Riverbend's corporate HQ issued a statement lauding employee MJ for professional conduct and promising support. Cynics on Reddit called it brand damage control. 2. Cascade Falls PD placed Ward on administrative leave with pay pending investigation. Lieutenant Perez's internal email leaked, noting pattern of questionable stops. 3. An anonymous source delivered Perez a raw dispatch recording. On it, Ward's voice said, "I see a possibility black female might be our booster going in." Dispatch responded, "Description says male suspect, 5'10". Ward replied, "I'll check anyway." Caught red-handed. 4. Samuel Green's freshman legal ethics lecture went viral when a student live-streamed him, dissecting the Riverbend incident in real time. "This," he told 200 undergrads, holding up his phone, "is why statutes matter more than swagger." 3 days later, the town council chambers overflowed. Whites, blacks, Asians, Latinos, Cascade Falls had turned out like the 4th of July, only angrier. On the docket, a hastily added motion to create a civilian police oversight board. Malika sat near the back, wearing a mustard cardigan, hood up, hoping no one noticed. Beside her sat Mallory from Frozen Foods, mascara still smeared from a double shift, gripping Malika's sleeve like a lifeline. Councilwoman Patrice Monroe, black, former Navy cryptologist, chaired the meeting. She read prepared remarks about community trust, while Councilman Robert Stedman White, mid-60s, business owner, fidgeted. He'd built an entire re-election platform on backing the blue. Stedman spoke next. "Let's not crucify an entire department over one misunderstanding," Mallory whispered. "Misunderstanding, my," and caught herself, glancing at Malika for permission to be livid. Malika gave a tiny nod. Mallory straightened her spine. A hand shot up front row. Elijah Dubois, a black high school junior who edited the school paper. "Councilman, are you aware that Officer Ward has 3 prior complaints?" "That's not one. That's a pattern." Whispers rippled. Stedman reddened. "Young man, personnel files become public if they disclose systemic bias." Professor Green interjected from the aisle. "ORS 181A640, sir." Laughter erupted. Stedman slammed his gavel. "You're not the chair." But Stedman's temper detonation accomplished the opposite. Undecided residents leaned toward oversight. By night's end, the council voted 4-3 to draft oversight legislation. It wasn't victory yet, but it was more than anyone predicted on Monday. Malika slipped out before the applause. She wasn't ready to be a symbol. She just wanted groceries to remain groceries. Outside, a drizzle polished the streetlights. A voice called her name. Lieutenant Perez approached, umbrella angled. "Miss Johnson?" Malika froze, then recognized the lieutenant from nightly news. Perez's tone was measured, respectful. "I wanted you to know. The dispatch tape you've heard about is real. It's evidence. We'll keep you updated." Malika exhaled, the breath white in cool air. "Thank you." Perez hesitated. "I know you're tired of cameras, but if this goes to hearing, your testimony matters." Malika swallowed the knot in her throat. "I'll do what's right," she said, though the weight of that promise felt heavier than cartons of produce. The next twist arrived courtesy of an unexpected source officer, Derek Boone, black, 38, Ward's former field training mentor. The Internal Affairs probe asked Boone about Ward's camera glitches. Boone, tired of silence, produced private texts from Ward pushing racially loaded jokes, date-stamped months before. Perez added them to the file. The union threatened defamation. Boone refused to recant. "I became a cop to protect people like Malika, not to hunt them," he told the IA recorder. 36 hours later, the texts leaked to the Oregon Sentinel. Cascade Falls exploded again, this time with a demand. "Fire Ward." Ward's attorney filed for a temporary restraining order to seal the leak. The judge, coincidentally Green's former student, denied it. "Sunlight is a disinfectant," she wrote. Ward's world shrank fast. She was doxxed, her Instagram unearthed. Photos with a Confederate flag bikini from college plastered across news feeds. Even supporters distanced themselves. Malika watched from her apartment, feeling no triumphantly, a hollow ache. She didn't crave Ward's ruin. She craved the day when none of this would happen at all. Sunday morning, Riverbend Grocery looked deceptively peaceful. Coffee, cake samples, soft jazz, mist curling off the produce sprinklers. Malika punched in, expecting cautious stares. Instead, a handmade poster greeted her on the break room fridge. A collage of employee Polaroids with Sharpie captions. "We've got your back." Someone taped a Starbucks gift card to the corner. She wiped away a tear she hadn't authorized. Halfway through her shift, a hush swept the front end. Marcus jogged to produce. "You've got a visitor." Malika's stomach tumbled. Cameras? Reporters? She followed Marcus to the fish counter where an elderly white woman stood, cane in hand, lavender hat tilted. Her name tag read, Dorothy Ward. Officer Ward's mother, Marcus whispered, ready to intervene. But Dorothy smiled, watery eyes behind giant bifocals. Malika Johnson. Yes, ma'am, Malika said. Dorothy extended a trembling envelope. My daughter's actions were wrong. She knows it now, however late. I raised her better. I'm sorry. She bowed her head. Humiliation and grief intermingled. She asked me to give you this. Malika opened the envelope later. Inside was a handwritten note. I don't expect forgiveness, but I want to acknowledge the fear my bias caused you. I'm resigning. I hope one day I understand the damage I've done. KW. There was also a cashier's check $5,000 made out to the Cascade Falls Food Cooperative, a local nonprofit Malika volunteered with on weekends. The gesture didn't erase anything, but it bent the narrative in a direction Malika hadn't foreseen. Twists didn't always need sirens. Sometimes they came as an old woman's apology in aisle 6. 2 weeks after the incident, the town gathered again, this time in the high school gym for a healing forum, moderated by Reverend Carla Knox, Black, 55, half preacher, half therapist. Rows of folding chairs packed with faces white ranchers in trucker caps next to Somali refugees who owned the corner cafe, teenage skaters forced there by civics teachers. Malika sat on stage beside Lieutenant Perez, Professor Green, Marcus, and, in an unannounced surprise, Officer Derek Boone. Cameras from Portland stations glowed, but the energy was less spectacle, more reluctant family meeting. Reverend Knox opened with a question. When authority harms, how does a town mend? Silence. Then Boone took the mic. I wore this badge thinking justice came baked in. It doesn't. People bake it in. People like Ms. Johnson who stand calm when power isn't. Gasps Boone, publicly praising Malika, meant risking thin blue line wrath. Perez spoke next, promising mandatory bias training and body cam audits independent of the union. Green quoted James Baldwin. Finally, Reverend Knox turned to Malika. Your town is listening. Malika's hands shook, so she laced her fingers together to still them. I don't have big words, she began, voice low but steady. I stock vegetables, but I know rotten when I smell it. Bias is like mold. If you catch it early, you can cut it out. If you ignore it, it ruins the whole crate. She paused. I don't want statues or slogans. I want guarantees that the next black woman stocking lettuce won't be treated like contraband. The gym erupted some cheers, some uneasy shifting, but no one looked away. That night, Cascade Falls voted by text poll set up by local news. 87% supported the oversight board. The council ratified the ordinance at the next session. Progress. Imperfect but tangible. Months passed. The hashtag cooled. News cycles churned elsewhere. Malika found a rhythm again. She got promoted to produce lead, negotiated organic vendor contracts, and started a small blog about grocery sustainability. She rarely thought about Wardon till the day a letter arrived postmarked, Deschutes Women's Correctional Facility. Ward had taken a plea deal on unrelated falsified report charges. She was serving 6 months. Inside the envelope was a single-line apology. Every night I see your face and wish I had done my job right. Malika folded the note, slid it into the back of Baldwin's The Fire Next Time, and filed it under unfinished chapters. Riverbend's Thursday crowd never noticed the history that lived between the apples and the bell peppers. But Professor Green did. He shopped every Thursday and bought exactly one item of different tea each week, just so he could nod at Malika and remind her the law stayed awake because citizens made it. One crisp November evening, Malika locked up the produce cage, clocked out, and stepped into dusk, glowing amber through maples. She thought about twist endings and realized life didn't do finales. It unspooled in loops and bitter, some tender, all unfinished. She inhaled wood smoke air, pulled her galaxy scarf a little tighter, and walked toward the bus stop where a kid was waving, eager to interview her for a school civics video. Malika raised a hand in greeting, ready to tell the story one more time if it meant the next generation might never have to live it.